No one asked, but this is my no-fail Ofensala recipe. Please, for maximum result, do as I do, because if you don't and it turns out not to be sweet, my hand no deal. Let's get right into the ingredients. Your protein of choice. Personally, I like to use chicken, live chicken to be precise. If you don't have live chicken, you can use frozen chicken, but the taste will not just be as fresh. I also like to use stock fish. Please don't buy cherry stock fish. You buy proper stock fish. Ask them for cod when you go to buy, and then yam for thickness. Some people like to use cocoyam powder, but I prefer yam. You need habanero peppers, the yellow one if you can find, uda and Uziza seed. The Uziza seed is the small thing and the uda is the long one. You also need roughly chopped Uziza leaf to intensify the Uziza taste. You also need nsala spice. One goes for about 15 naira. It depends on the quantity of your soup, but I got 4 because I'm making a big pot. Now for preparation, add all your protein into a pot, add water, add your uda spice and add your yam. It's very important to add your uda spice from the beginning, just so you can start building the flavor. And it's also important to start cooking with your yam. Bring it to a boil, and then in a mortar, I like to use mortar. If you have blender, you can use. Pound pepper, pound onion, your Uziza seed, pound it very smooth, because that will be going into your mixture. Also add crayfish if you have, but please try to have crayfish because it is an important part of this meal. So when your protein is starting to simmer, you add your pounded mixture, which is the habanero, crayfish, onion and Uziza seed. It is important that you do this before the food boils, just so you can infuse the flavor into the chicken and the yam, and also to build flavor. Then you can now start adding your seasoning cube of choice. I like to use keno and also salt. Cover and then allow to boil until the yam is fork soft. Don't forget to add your nsala spice. I have 4, so I'm adding 2 for now. I'll save the rest for later. Now that our yam is very soft, you take out only the yam and add to a mortar so that we can pound it. You need this yam for thickness. And after you have done this, you can now start adjusting the water, because you know that it would have boiled and water would have dried up. Start adjusting your water. Put as much water as you want, and then start adjusting the taste. The remaining salad spice, I'm adding it now. If you need to add more salt, you need to add more pepper or more seasoning cube, this is the time to do it. Cover and then go and work on your yam. Now for the yam, you just want to pound it. You don't need to worry. It doesn't have to be pounded yam consistency. Just pound it and make sure that there are no seeds or lumps. Now that our yam is ready, you add it to your pot and then cover and allow it to thicken. So you watch the consistency. You just keep adding small. If you want it to be very thick, then you add a lot, but if you don't want it to be too thick, add very little. But for me, I like to add small and watch the consistency, just so I'm not adding too much or too little. So this is the consistency that we have at this point. I want it to be a little thicker, so I'll go ahead and add my remaining yam to it. Again, if the taste is not okay, you can still start adjusting from this point. Now we're at the consistency that I want. I've added the roughly chopped Uziza leaf, and then I'll just cover and allow. When you allow it to rest, it will now thicken very well. So yes, this is my no fail recipe. Again, do as I do, because if it's not sweet, my hand no deal. If you still do as I do and it's still not sweet, then you're on your own.